Howdy, how are you doing, gals and guys? Today we are going to be talking about multer. I'm going to give an introduction in this video, and then we are going to do another video with some more advanced functions that we need to use when we use multer to be secure with it. So in this intro video, we are going to do, well, like we always do, we are going to incorporate the package. This is a module, so we are going to add multer to it. This is giving superpowers to Node. Since this is a module, we just import it. And now we come here and we do npm install multer save prod, because this is a production package. Since I already have it installed, it will only update it if there is a new version, a new release. Otherwise, it tells me it's up to date, audited all my packages in 3 seconds, and it's done. So now we come here after we added multer, and we need to actually create the disk storage model. Basically, how are we going to store the variables in multer? So the first thing we are going to do is to define the constant storage. And we are going to initialize it using a multer function, a multer method called multer.diskStorage, and this is disk storage model. The disk storage model has two main objects that are properties of the object, but they are objects on their own. One is called destination, and to this one we are going to have a function, and we are going to pass, it's going to come with some parameters, and we are going to use it to call another function. And then we are going to have a file name. That's going to be the exact same thing. It's going to be a function. I'm defining it as an arrow function here that's going to come with certain parameters, and that I'm going to use it to call another function. So here, what are the parameters? Response, file, and the callback function. So the same parameters are going to come to file name, response, file, and callback function. So what is the response? The response is basically what we do, what we send back. The file is the file object where each file that has been requested to be uploaded to our server is going to come. And the callback function is a function that we invoke. And basically, we are going to invoke it from here, from inside this function. We are going to say callback, the null, and the destination. Here we write the destination. In our case, it needs to be uploads. For the case of multiple files, and that's the one I'm going to describe in this video today because it's the most generic one, you need to create the directory. The directory needs to exist. If it's a single file upload, then multer will create the directory for you. But in our case, we have already created the directory. I've been playing around, so we have some files here that I'm just going to delete right now. So we start from scratch, move to trash, okay. So now that we are creating this storage model using the disk storage method of the multer object, we need to create the file name. For the file name, oh, I'm sorry, I placed these parameters are going to be passed when the function is invoked. So basically here we are going to use again the callback function, and the callback function again is going to have null and the file name that we want to use. So if we use this, everything will be stored with file name and nothing will work correctly because I'm going to be doing multiple files. So we need to have a variable here, and I'm going to use file name, and we need to construct that variable. See how creative I am? File name. So let's construct the file name variable, constant file name equal, and we can use the field name that's going to come with the file. So file, and I'll tell you what is a field name in a few seconds. Field name, it's one of the properties of the file object that is going to be provided to us by multer. And then we are going to add to this, for instance, the date.now. This is the number of milliseconds since 1970. And then we are going to add an extension, for instance, JPEG. And this is a fixed extension. We will later on see how we can actually allocate this extension depending on the MIME type. And we are going to be talking about how multer identifies MIME types and how to actually do it in a more secure way. So that creates a file name, and now we say file name in the callback function. Let's illustrate this to us in the console. So we do a console.log, and we say file is, and here we are going to incorporate the file, and is being saved with file name. Okay, so this is basically an object that we have constructed that the multer is going to use later on when it gets invoked by a request that comes to the server. For now, it's just a construct. Now we need to actually assign this object to multer. For that, we say constant upload equal multer, and here we tell multer where the object is. So we say the object is called storage with a property name storage, and the object itself is storage. We just defined above. Now that we have all the parameters that are going to tell multer what to do, we need to create a route from multer. So we have our app use for the course, we have a route for app get that we created before, and let's create a route. We have our listening server. Let's create a route for multer that we say app post. In this post route for multer, we are going to define several things. The first thing we are going to define is the upload route. Basically, what route is where multer is going to be receiving the file upload requests. And we can call this anything. Let's call it upload files. And now we need to call multer, and we are going to be using what we created before. We called it upload. And we are going to be calling the method array because we are going to be using the multiple files. Okay, upload of multer. That's a more generic one. You can upload one file up to a limit that you establish right here. And this is the field name, fields. The first thing you write is the field name. The field name needs to coincide. If you are sending this with a fetch request from a client, it needs to coincide with the name that was assigned, the string, the ASCII, that was assigned to the input where the files were selected from. So that input line, that input tag that you use to select, of type files that you use to select the files, needs to have a name, fields. Or if you use name form, you need to assign it the name fields. And here in this name is where all the files are going to come. And we are going to set up a maximum of 12 files. You can set up any number you want. I'm using 12 as my limit. And then after this, we can call another function, or we can just receive the parameters that will be request, response, and next, but I'm not going to be using next. So request and response. And we can do something after we have received multer. In our particular case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to log to the console. I'm going to say request.files, okay, .map. Because request.files is going to be an array of files. Remember, it's from 1 to 12. We can receive one file or 12 files. And I'm going to be mapping, you can check the .map array method. And basically, all it does is it provides a parameter that is each members one at a time. So each file will be provided here to this arrow function. And we can make a transformation, any transformation that we want inside this function. I'm not going to be doing any transformation. I'm just going to use this to log it to the console. So we are going to log to the console log, file received is file. So for each file that inside this array, I'm going to print it back. they should be the same files that we received above in the storage model, because the multer is going to be calling that storage model with each file it receives. And here we are going to be printing them just to show that we are receiving all of them and we are processing them. We could be doing anything we want here. Okay, I'm choosing to just report this to the console. Now let's see how many mistakes I made. We can save this. Oh, and here now we need to start node monitor. For that we say npm run dev. This is my script that runs node monitor in the development mode. Oops, no error, incredible. Okay, so now we have it listening on port 5000. To continue with this, we need to go and start Postman. So let's go do that. Okay, so here we have Postman, which you need to change the route. We need to go to upload files. That was our route. And our key, I think I used files. Let's check it. Yeah, our field name is, I used fields. So our field name, I used fields for our field name. So I need to use the exact same name here. Fields. Okay, I probably tried to write files and I wrote fields, but that's okay. Better so we can illustrate to you that doesn't need to be named files. It can be named anything. So now I'm going to send it and we get an error. Okay, so we have two problems here. The first problem is I forgot to include the backslash here, and that's critical. Without the backslash, it's not going to work. And then the other problem we have is I'm not sending a response. So after mapping this and finishing the map, I need to say response.status, and then report the 200, and then say send. And here we can actually reply received, and here we can say comma request dot files dot length files, and here it can't be a comma, it needs to be a plus. Okay, so it will tell us how many files it received. So with these two corrections, I save this again. Node monitor detects the save, that changes, recompiles, restarts, and now we come to Postman and we send the same thing again. Receive 2 files. Now it worked. That was the only problem. I had forgotten to include this backslash here, and I wasn't sending a response, so it would never finish. It would stay there forever until a response came or until it timed out. So now we are able to receive our files. So 2 times we received 2 files here. We can demonstrate it again. I can delete all these files. Control. Let me delete them. Move to trash. Now we can come to my Postman, and I'm going to delete the 2 files selected. The way you do that is you select the field, you select form data. In the fields, you select files, and under file selection, you select as many files as you want. I'm going to select all these files, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 files. I'm going to open them, and then 10 files selected, and now I'm sending this to my server. Receive 10 files, done. So now we go to the server, and you can see the 10 files that were uploaded to the server. Okay, if we backtrack, you can see the information we are getting from our Morgan and morganBody. Also the information we printed. You can say file received is, and we should have 10 of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then we have the set of files. That's the one we printed when we were constructing the storage model. To the console, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And in that way you can see how this is working. Basically this was the post request that we received. This was the response body saying received 2 files. This is from the previous, the test that we did. And then if we go to this one, our response body was received 10 files. So anyway, this is all the details. One small detail, I forgot to include the period on the extension. So if we wanted to add it, we would need to go here, let's say to the storage model, and we say file name. Here under JPEG, we need to add the period, and then we would have the files being saved with the period. Okay, I hope you enjoy this. This is how you upload files with Postman from the backend side.